Well, how's it going? What's the crack? It's the Buckshot podcast for the 26th of April 2016. How's ye fucking hanging? What's the crack? Anyway, alright, comedy gigs coming up for the next Buckshot show. Very happy to announce that there will be a Roisin Dove gig. It's on the 20th of July. I know I've been saying that one, and like that, there's a couple of more down the fucking line. 13th of May will be Care. And 25th of May will be the Lantern Theatre, which will be immediately after Jess Fest down in Wexford. 2nd of June I'll be in Ratoath, and I'll announce a bunch more kind of gigs and stuff that's coming up. Not necessarily the Buckshot show, but just all fun gigs that are coming up down the line. This will only be a short podcast because had the wedding. We're still on the honeymoon and whatnot, so just stick close and here comes the podcast. Well, what's the crack? Yeah, just got married. I'm a married man, so we're actually here on location in the west of Ireland. We're honeymooning out here. Herself is in the room too. She's toddling around there. The wife, as I like to call her these days. Say hello, the wife.
Hello.
That's Natasha. I don't even reference her by Natasha anymore. It's just the wife. Because for years I've just wanted to use a good excuse for me doing silly things. So, well, that's the wife. You can't say the girlfriend because the wife sounds much better. So how the fuck are you keeping? As if you can answer me back. Yeah, Jesus Christ. So yeah, the wedding. I wasn't gigging. I was talking just since the last couple of gigs because obviously wasn't gigging because it was absolutely flat to the fucking mat for the week running up to the wedding. Stuff just having to be done because we're hewers for actually putting extra. Like, I know this is going to sound pretentious, like we're putting, but it's always handier if you can take control of situations yourself. So we the week off, both of us, so we were just doing decorating stuff and all the rest of it, and there's everything from foliage to just fun things we had for people coming to the wedding. It was, I think they genuinely had a fun time because that was the whole kind of vibe behind it was, let's make it fucking fun. Let's make it fun for everybody here. Because you know yourself when you go to weddings, you don't know who the fuck is who, and you're at your table, and that's about as many as you get to know for the night. But we're very lucky the place we went to, it was our place for the evening. You know, that kind of way. There was no people wandering in, checking in, like, you know, reps from fucking companies and stuff like that going, oh, fucking hell, there's a wedding, is there? You know, that kind of way. We were away by ourselves. You know, it was fucking excellent. The staff too, you know what I mean, they turned on the juice for the night too. Like, everybody was yes sir, no sir. It was, do you know what I mean, you felt a bit special for that evening. It was class, and they just went with everything. We did a couple of kind of fun production things, like one or two things that kind of popped up during the night, because you have to like, one thing we left out of it, and this is one thing that a lot of people will know about weddings, is the fucking speeches can wither the living stones off. Because while you think it sounds great to you, really you're only playing to even if you're in a room of 200 people, you're only playing to an audience of about 5 who know who the fuck you're talking about when it comes to referencing things. So really, trust me, anybody who's thinking of getting married down the line, because of the especially the feedback we got, anybody who's thinking about getting married, cut that shit fucking short, because nobody in the room gives one fuck about who you think they give a fuck about. They don't. They really don't. They don't care about Aunt fucking Mary or Teresa who showed up, and fair play to her for... No, nobody... We had 3 people. I was one of them, with Natasha's dad, my old lad, who I don't think he even thought he was giving a fucking speech. We did it during the drinks reception bit, before the grub and all the rest of it. Bottom of the fucking stairs, everybody was standing there having a drink. Bossman gets up from the hotel going, if you'd like to shut the fuck up, essentially, in a quiet way. We've got the speeches coming up. People went, all right. Dad-in-law gets up. He does 4 minutes on the nose. Beauty. Few jokes. Thanks everybody. Out of the gate. Dad, I shouted over at him, you're on. He went, really? And the cute little whore too, he wasn't a bit nervous. He went, grand job, hand me the mic. But he was done and dusted, the fucker, in like a minute and a half. He sounded like a fellow who was after winning the All-Ireland. Do you know, like, Tá Alán áhas a gom a bhfuil an corna glacha agus an chomanna law school. He just banged it out minute and a half. I went up, did probably about a minute, I would imagine, just said what needed to be said, and let's get on with the fucking party. And the amount of people who actually went, that was their highlight. They went, Jesus Christ, you just didn't drag the bollocks out of that. I was like, no. Everybody, I'd never heard anybody ever come back from a wedding going, do you know what was class? How fucking long they went on with the speeches. I was hoping they'd go longer. I was hoping that, why the fuck should any bit of a wedding be fucking dreary? Do you know what I mean? Why should it be fucking... Because nobody wants to hear that shit. The blokes doing it don't want to fucking do it. They're all dying with fucking stomach cramps for a fucking week because of the nerves over the bastard thing. So just keep it nice and sweet and short. You're under no obligation to do whatever the fuck you think society. You're not. Not one person came up to me and went, one fucker. All right. Or in fairness, I think he was just cracking a joke. He was like, I was kind of hoping you were going to do longer. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, pay me and I'll do fucking longer. And that was it. That was fucking it. It was nice. And I think that kind of set the tone for the evening. Everybody was like, oh, fine, right, we're here to actually enjoy ourselves. And Natasha comes up with some nice fucking things as well for the people coming to it, you know, that kind of way. So they individually felt like they were in the bus, but it was a kind of a euphoric vibe. I was wondering, were they pumping some fucking Troom fucking dust or something? Everybody was, by about, not even drunk time, which would be like 10 o'clock, everybody by like 7:30 was kind of in a vibe, you know what I mean? They were it was a great fucking tone, you know. Everybody had this kind of almost, hey man, cool man, you know. If there was dreads, if somebody was plaiting fucking hair in the corner of one of the rooms, it would have seemed okay, you know. That kind of, it was cool. I have to thank my good friend Richie Hayes, who he put on a production for us during a short little fucking funny video thing. Everybody, it was again short. There's nothing like keeping these fucking things nice and quick. Worked out, but we basically walked into the room after this thing happened from coming down the stairs, and I was kind of orchestrating shit beforehand. He was like, no, don't worry, look, I'll have all the shit out of your way, because essentially it was through a projector and stuff, and it was like watching the parting of the waves. He had these fucking staff members who I didn't even see or didn't even know they were there. They were just lifting up cables, fucking everything, as we walked down into the first dance. Lovely, smooth as fuck. It went off like a fucking dream. Perfect. I think the last ones were done by about 5:30, but there was still dancing going on at 5:30. But I think that was it, done and dusted. It came off without a hitch, in fairness. I had cribbed about, I said on the run up last week, I'd said there was only one thing giving me a pain in the fucking stones, and it was the suit. The suit was giving me a pain in my stones, and yes, it continued to. And like that, fucker left me down on the suit fucking factor of things. Live and learn by these words, people. You can't check out somebody enough. You can't check him out enough. This motherfucker dropped the ball big time. But regardless, we won't get into that, because I'll just get fucking angry. And we're on honeymoon out here in the beautiful fucking west of Ireland in a beautiful, beautiful castle hotel. But what I will say, to flip it the other way on pure positive, is we got dug out by an amazing motherfucker. Amazing fucking guy. If anybody's ever thinking of getting sorted out with a fucking suit or anything shoe related, fucking suit, formal wear, fucking semi-casual wear, go into fucking Nace. Go to a guy called Richie Whelan. He's about just the coolest guy you're ever going to meet in your life. He just sorted the sit like it. I walked in there looking like a fucking psychopath. I was dressed from head to toe in fucking camo on the Friday evening when everybody else is over in the hotel, just cool as could be. I bust in the doors. He could see the big sweaty bally fucking head in me like I was trying to eat the fucking door off the hinges. He went, what is it? I went, explain the story with the suit. He went, grand job. Give me a rough idea what it looks like. Explain it to him. He the fucking one that just perfect for it. Exactly the setup for it. He went, man, here you go. He says, lo and behold, he goes, look, I'll have the trousers of this tomorrow morning, this and that. He goes, call in here tomorrow at lunch. We'll get you fucking suited and booted. Called in at lunch. Lo and behold, there was a suit. To get it tidied up, we went across the road to some woman, quite literally across the street, to a woman who had a whatchamacallit upstairs, a seamstress place, a tailor's upstairs. Few fucking needles here, needles there. Had the whole thing fucking sorted out. Called back at 5:30. Picked up a whopper pair of fucking shoes off him. Did me a deal on them. fucked in the belt for nothing, fucked in all the alterations for nothing, because you could see a guy, even while I was in there, this will tell you like the coolness of a guy, right? Even while we were in there, there was a bloke who was at a wedding up the street on the Friday night. He was up the street on the Friday night at a wedding, and he came down because he was kind of going, fuck, I'm not in the wedding party, but I'm wearing a tie the very same as the fucking groom, and I don't want to, you know what I mean? Not that blokes be getting pissy, but it was early, he just didn't want to be wearing the same tie as the groom and his fucking groomsman. So he'd said, look, I need a fucking tie, because who carries around a spare fucking tie unless you're a lunatic? He goes in, your man just lashes him on a tie. There you go, that one will suit your suit perfect. He's like, sweet as not, what do I owe you? He goes, get the fuck out of here. Go on, get up there, enjoy yourself. I was like, you're a legend. And off up the road. Wouldn't even charge him for the tie. Like, I'm not promoting this guy to go in there and hope to get free shit, but what I'm saying is that's the standard bloke you're dealing with. He'll dig you out of a fucking situation. He knows you'll be back. That's a good businessman, but also a hell of a nice fella. Do you know what I mean? And I don't care if a guy's a good businessman. That's what you're looking for. It's a good business. But the fact that he has that touch of fucking class too, throwing me a free belt, fucking class, just pure class. He actually, I just found, I've totally forgot. I actually found in the suit bag, he threw in a free pair of socks. Do you know, like, I didn't need fucking socks. Didn't ask for them, and he still threw them in for nothing. So touch things like it was looking. They reckon shit can come off the rails, and there were stories we're hearing from friends like the fucking priest not showing up, some motherfucker fucking up all their suits. All of a sudden, a chef is dropped fucking dead, or some shit is burnt down. We weren't in that, but on the Friday when we were up there, fucking bollocks. Like I was saying, we were decorating it ourselves. And we only got in there on the Friday to properly decorate it. Of course, I'm driving out the gate of the fucking house. 2 yards up the road, all I can hear is flump, 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 flump. I have a fucking puncture. Jesus Christ. It's like, and we're late, you know what I mean? You're late, like, and stuff, and it's like, Jesus Christ. Because this is the first rodeo. You could put on as many events, or you can fucking go to as many events as you want, but until you've done, you know what I mean? Until you've done a thing that one fucking time, you haven't done it before, you know what I mean? So you're sweating fucking bullets, like, fucking back in. Did you get the tyre changed? Do you think the wheel brace would work? Farty little fucking wheel brace. What it is a socket set. It's not really a proper wheel brace. I really need to get my hands on a fucking wheel brace, but I broke the last one in temper, so up the road. Thank fuck the lads next door. They have a pub next door, and I was saying, and of course you can't just ask for a wheel brace and go, of course Tom, here's a wheel brace, because it's not you know what I mean? You have to then tell the big story, and they all knew, Chiz, you're getting married, you can't be happy all your life, all these stupid fucking things out of these lads. But got the wheel brace, got the fucking thing changed. I managed to keep the temper, because I was still furious. Hadn't sorted the suit thing at that stage, but it ended up all working out exactly as we fucking hoped. Couldn't have asked for better. Piss and rain, fucking weird all fucking weather all week. Weird all weather since Sunday onwards. But it was fucking glorious on the day. You couldn't ask for it better. And a couple of cool things showed up. Like I didn't know what was happening, but I thought I was just going over with the lads or whatever gang, because herself was in the, you gotta get a nice car for herself. Like she was in a Bentley from the 60s, lovely fucking bus. But what I didn't realise, I was stomping around the place furious over in the hotel, like before we set off for the church or whatever, and I was like, fuck's sake, Jesus Christ, everybody's running behind, you know what I mean? And nobody was running that far behind. It was still going to happen, but you don't know what, you know what I mean? So you're furious. Next thing, all I can hear is coming up the fucking drive. The fucking A-Team, right? That's the first thing I hear. Next thing, I walk out the door of the manor house and I see the GMC black and red fucking van coming up. Herself had organised for myself and the groom's lads to head over in the A-Team van. And his bloke, right, that's driving it, he's a chubby enough bloke, right, but he's wearing the dungarees, the red shirt, and he's white, because he's white guy. He wears a full rubber BA mask, Mr. T mask, and I can't work out, is this racist or is it just fuck it, it's fun. He gets out and he's like, I ain't getting on no plane, and he's just looking at me. It was the most surreal moment you could ever, like, we're only 11 o'clock in the morning at this stage. It's like, what in the name of fuck is this? But it was absolute, like, I just turned into a 7-year-old boy with this thing. I was hanging out of it, and it was photographs. Everybody wanted fucking pictures of this thing. So, and it was brilliant because when we were driving over, like it's a 14 or 15 mile country drive through a few villages to get over to where the church was, and what was most fucking mental was while we're sitting in this cool fucking shag carpet fucking big huge van and we're driving over, he was playing full audio of episodes through speakers that were on the outside of the van. So anybody who was even in their front garden, like there was guys playing golf they were literally on the first tee, and we were pulled up behind a tractor, and it was like, "You crazy motherfucker," right? And these lads were about to tee off, and they just started sticking their fingers up because they got really angry. Now, your average person like was getting really excited. They were all waving at the thing and just cracking their bollocks laughing because it was just like full audio episodes like were playing. But it made for one of the weirdest fucking drives of a thing I've ever been in. But it was absolutely brilliant. It just made people happy. It brought my temper way down. It was fantastic. We got a Ariat like that with a couple of more really cool things, but rather than getting into it, but that was definitely the one that did it for me. When you can make other, that's what I discovered. If anybody's thinking about getting married, rather than you can make it about yourself, but like you should try and make it, because what'll happen is you'll find everybody's in a real buzz. Do you know what I mean? Happy form. I had agreed, but I'd say it was probably with a couple of pints. No, well, I did it sober. I thought about it sober because I said I was going to get up and sing. Kind of in a weird way. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I'm not a very good singer. Do you know what I mean? I can tell jokes all fucking day long, but when it comes to singing, Jesus Christ, it could have affected the entire entire mood. Like, this was going great until that fucker opened his mouth and started singing. Thankfully, I left it to the professionals. I'm not drinking tea either for the first time in a podcast, and supping bottles of water here makes a bit of a difference. Just trying to think what else in the way of the wedding. There's everybody kind of pulled together. You should definitely delegate as much as you possibly can to reliable people. Like the aunt and the mother made the cake. Fantastic. Then we didn't have to be withered or pissed from people who were making cakes. That's a good thing. Delegate as much as you possibly can. But we did. We finished up next day. Wandered out straight into. People were saying, "Oh God, it must be such a lull." Was it? Fuck. It was like, are you joking me? We just put on a fucking awesome party. Everybody had a great time. What in the fuck is the lull about? But we came out west here to Mayo. I've never driven west before where the drive went so well. There was absolutely zero tractors, traffic, or anything. It actually, now one of the fucking wipers got shit the bed. I mean, the poor old car, she's been getting such a fucking working with this wedding, like back and forth, to and fro, and obviously got the puncture the other day, got a change yesterday morning. Turns out there had been a giant fucking nail in the tire, like we're talking a 4-inch nail, gone straight through the thing, and had been poking the inside of it, so it was like a big zit on the inside of the fucking weird. I was raging. The first good tyres I bought in fucking years. And your man was like, yeah, that's fucked. So lashed that on, heading on out, and of course we're halfway up the road, and of course as you head west of Ireland, anybody who knows west of Ireland, it will piss rain at some stage. It's just a given. We went for an hour-long walk today, an hour-and-a-half long walk today, and met 4 different fucking weather conditions, 4 different fucking continents of weather conditions. But one of the wipers, thankfully the passenger side wiper, just decided, fuck this, I'm on holidays too, I'm not fucking wiping nothing. Pulled in somewhere near Longford, found that the little kind of bar thing that was hanging onto the other, it had come off. I'm pretty sure I can do a redneck fix on it with just some cable ties or maybe some fucking rope or whatever. I reckon, but so long as I have one at the front, I'm all right. But we had, but the poor old car was kind of shitting the bed a small bit. I thought hopefully it can hold it together, because the fucker just passed the NCT and it's got good fucking tyres under it, so it's all there. But a wedding. But we came over and it was fucking beautiful. It's great when you have no place to be bar. You know what I mean? There's nothing. And everybody knows you, so nobody's bothering you with shit because they know you're on the honeymoon. You know what I mean? Then you're not getting fucking weird texts about. You know what I mean? Shit is done. You don't have to be doing nothing. It's just 1 week long period, bar this podcast. But fuck it, you got to do it like so. But we were there. We had this most incredible fucking dinner last night. Jesus Christ! They do this thing in this place we are with. But they've set fire with Jameson. They set fire to your steak while it's on a fucking sword. They've jammed your sword up through your fucking steak. It's just covered in Jameson and set fire. Total health and safety fucking fire hazard. But it seems to work. But it was a kid last night, apparently he's after getting into trouble. He wanted a photograph, and he was just kind of mooching over going, oh, yeah, I really liked him one over. And I was like, yeah, let's get a photograph. And it kind of went on a bit long because the girl who was taking the photograph kept on fucking it up, and apparently got a bit of a bollocking. So I'm pretty sure that the owner or whoever gave him the bollocking won't be listening to this, but if you are, it was totally my doing, because the guy was being very polite and I offered him a photograph. God, that sounds dickish, doesn't it? Jesus. But around the town today where we are, there was a moment of a few points. Like we went to this one shop because we were planning on a bit of a hike, because we're doing this thing with falcons and shit the next couple of days, and you gotta have we didn't bring, like, I can bring my wellies, but like the fucking wellies I have are really meant for, like, they're covered in shit anyway from the start. They're meant for, you know what I mean, they're not for a casual walk. They're meant for fucking tearing through fucking muck and shit. So we went out today and we bought some good hiking boots, but we went to one place. Have you ever been in a shop where you wish they were playing loud music? You know, you've gone into Abercrombie and Fitch and like, Jesus Christ, would they turn that shit down? Mother of fuck. But this is a moment. I wish they were playing anything, or if you left the door open, at least to let traffic noise pass in, because there was a moment of extreme weird. No, I say a moment. It was 25 minutes of hello there. It was like something out of Little Britain, or it was like, is there any nuts? I expected the guy to start playing a fucking flute and everything behind our shoulders. It was just, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but fuck me. It's like, we weren't going to rob anything. Do you know that kind of way? It was just, there was an element of weirdness yeah. But throughout the town, discovered a lot more stale food. This is something that I didn't expect. This is me getting all fucking precious, by the way. But actually genuinely out of date food in more than one place that we actually went to. Like stuff we were going to buy. I was like, Jesus, that's 3 weeks fucking gone off. Oh, I didn't notice. And it's not that we're in a small town. Oh, what town we're in. There's no point in me saying the town now, in fairness, because you know yourself. But there was a few points where, like, do you have one in the back that isn't fucked, basically, in a polite way? And it was, you know, and that happened more than once. I think it was 2 or 3 times throughout the day. So I'm just wondering, is there, you know, I don't want to fuck over the people of the west of Ireland, but is there like a shipment that comes over once a month, and you better have your fucking orders in? That sounds totally fucking dickish. I didn't think it was a total fluke, but I made sure to actually buy. We wouldn't normally buy stuff for people when you go away, because who the fuck wants souvenirs and shit these days? But there's kind of a tradition I've had with my parents. They kind of hate to love and love to hate really obnoxiously terrible fucking presents, like vile things, you know, pottery little things that say the place name on it, like polystyrene or plastic volcanoes when you've been to Lanzarote, you know, them sort of fucking things. Because we have this thing where we like to put them on the back porch, or on one of the back fences, and actually just use a shotgun and shoot them off, and send a photograph or a video of you doing that. So I got a thimble today from my mother saying the town name that we were in, and I hope she's a good shot, because she has to shoot it from at least a good 50 feet away. But I know she'll absolutely hate it. I was going to get an ashtray, which I thought would be funny, because neither of my parents smoke, which, yeah, probably would have been a bit better, but I opted for the slightly cheaper one. But you should do that. You should really get terrible things. Don't try and put much thought. Put thought into it where it's absolutely horrendous, and you make a bit of a joke, because at least then it's out in the open. There are no nice souvenirs. There are almost no nice souvenirs anyway, you know what I mean? There's a few select companies making good gear, actually good fucking gear, but you probably have to pay decent money for it. But you know those fucking horrendous things? Oh, Jesus. You know the fucking yokes, like, you know, oh, I was in Egypt, here's the pyramid made out of fucking straw. You know, like, fucking Jesus, do yourself a favour. But make sure to just get something that's pure puke. Pure fucking puke. And go, I brought you this terrible thing back. And then you find trying to outdo yourselves then for dreadful shit. Dreadful shit. That's, I think, a way, way funnier way of doing it. So that's it. That's it. I'm going to fucking wrap it up. I don't think I should be rattling in your ears for too much more. I've nothing to fucking give out about. I normally have something to give out about. I'm not going reading fucking papers and stuff. I'm sure there's plenty of shit in there that'll annoy the fuck out of me. Obviously my beloved Munster lost, but I think they did as well as they could possibly fucking do given the circumstances and all the rest. I think they're much earlier down the road than Leinster lost too, but they're much further down the road, I think, on their development. And my beloved Tipperary lost to Galway, but I think that's just a blip in the road. It's the fucking league, for fuck's sake. Wexford beat Kilkenny. All that shit changes, so don't any fuckers, herring jokers, be getting too excited in your fucking selves. Seamus Callanan is back in about 2 weeks' time, so it'll be all a small bit different. So don't be getting ahead of yourselves. It's just the fucking league, lads. That's it. Fucking league. Anyway, like I said, the gigs coming up, aside from the ones that I mentioned, like the 13th of May in Care, 25th in Wexford, where else am I? Yeah, the 2nd of June in Ratoath, and the 20th in the Roisin Dove, sorry, not the Roisin Dove. There'll be more details to follow with that one, and then of course there will be more popping in because there's a few more in negotiation, but I won't be doing them this fucking week, I can tell you. But obviously there's the 26th of November. I'll be in the Museum of Comedy, so any of my London friends or people that were living in London or friends of people in London, tell them to just get tickets. It's there in the Leicester Square Theatre.com. Just jump on it. But there is a couple of more gigs stuck in between that, like on the 5th of May I'll be in Killaloo in County Clare. The 19th I'm in the Trappers in Galway. The 10th of June I'll be at the Bear in the Woods Festival, which should be a lot of fun. I think I'm doing like a half-hour slot at that, which should be interesting. Festivals can always be a bit weird when there's music going on, because it can be a total shit show, or it'll be great if they have the tent put in the right space. Because this is something I want you to notice. If you are going to the Bear in the Woods or Electric Picnic or any of these music festivals that happen to have comedy, cut them some slack if they have left the doors wide fucking open on the comedy tent. Because I remember doing, I think it was Forbidden Fruit or something a couple of years ago, and it was like, oh yeah, lovely stuff. I rocked in there to do it. I think I'd just been down in Kilkenny doing something, and I came up that day and went in to do it, and it was, oh Jesus Christ, this is going to absolutely shit the bed, because they left it was a round tent, huge fucking thing, like you'd want 500 people in it to actually, it was a proper circus tent stuck right in the middle, which was strange because every other year in the Forbidden Fruit they had it down in the corner of the field, totally closed off tent, so you have no sound bleed coming in really. Foley fucked it, all three sides, 3 big doors opened up, and just as I went on stage, Public Enemy started in the tent right next door. A fucking tent, 2 pieces of felt and about 8 foot separated me. No, actually I didn't have, because they'd opened the 3 doors. Nothing. Public Enemy may as well have been playing in the tent with me, so it can be kind of a shit show. From what I'm being told, Bear in the Woods, which is cool because of course House of Pain are going to be headlining it. A first ever album I ever bought. I think I needed my mother. I think I was that young. I think I was 12 or 13. I think I was 12 or 13, and I was in Clonmel, and the guy was like, it's explicit lyrics, and my mother was in shopping across the road, across the kind of little plaza or whatever she was buying new. I said, well, my mother's just over there, and she kind of waved across into the HMV and was like, fair enough. So that, if I do get a chance to talk to Everlast or any of the other 2 lads, I will be telling them that. Why not? I feel the need to hear a story like that a fella buying his first ever album in Clonmel, so I could learn how to swear like an American. They should learn. Bear in the Woods Festival, 15th of June, the weekend of the 15th of June, I'll be in the Laughter Lounge. 12th of June, I'll be in the Woolshed, and there'll be more poking up between then. I'll be talking to you between now and then. Keep an eye out for all that, lads, and I'll see you next week. Good luck.